time, and I'm back with my own review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we start off with Martel. It's his actual event of the wine tasting, and all the ladies have arrived, and the men are communicating. They are engaging. We see Chris Fletcher there, his other business partner, and it showed a comment that Marsau said to the ladies how he's trying to find his ring in his pocket. The ladies said don't get in trouble. Maurice caught that and made a face, and the camera caught it. So Martel makes a speech. He goes up on stage and he's fumbling. He must have been drinking. He said the wine was 13.5. Ooh. And noticing that he was nervous and that he was completely speechless, Marcel makes a comment that this is probably why Melody isn't here anymore. Because Melody was the mouthpiece. Melody was the brains. Melody was the face. And all Martel was a man in the suit. The fact that he don't have his partner by his side to make him look good, he's on an island by himself. Even though Melody made herself look good as well, it was an added bonus that it made him look good. So then he goes outside with his manager, how it was a great turnout. His Uncle Sam was in attendance, but he was mad that Martel never explained or never divulged the reason why the wine was dedicated to his grandmother. All he said was, this wine was named after my grandmother, that was it. So of course, being that was his mother, he said, that's my mother. And all you did was congratulate your friends. He ain't shit for that. So his uncle comes outside to talk to him. I got the impression that the uncle didn't want this to be on camera, but he did. Even though his uncle was mic'd up and ready for this moment. So basically, that's all you could have said. That was my mama. And you never said nothing else. That's all you had to say. So Martel wanted to clear it up and say, listen, don't do that to me. We're on national television. Don't say that. So it made his uncle feel disrespected. Like, I'm trying to talk to you about how you did not express enough about my mother, your grandmother, on a wine that I'm supporting you on. And you want to now say I can't come up to you and talk to you about this on camera? You want to silence me? You want to shut me down, son on me, how I can't bring this up to you on camera? I bet. That's the type of time you want? I'm out. So he tries to follow him. He's trying to get understanding. His uncle was not letting him about how he felt. I am upset. You never said more about my mother. That's your grandmother. Are you fucking kidding me? Where's the respect in that? He never let up. So throughout the entire house, he's following him through the garage, through the car. The camera crew is trying to follow him. He's saying, no, stay over there. So Chris and the fellas are talking. They want to know what's going on. He said, did you know why his uncle left? No, because he didn't say much about his grandmother. I mean, the wine is dedicated to her, but what else was being said? Maurice being the mouthpiece, giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying that, okay, well, he didn't come prepared for the speech. He said what he thought he said at the moment, and we got to give him that. Now, I wish Melneka was on her guard and made a little note, made a little quick speech for him to say, because obviously we can tell Martel is not the best speaker. And like he just thought about what he thought about in that moment, and that was it though. Everybody's having a good time. I get it. That's his uncle's mother. An actual son probably trumps grandson. While that's your grandmother, this was my mother. And I feel like she deserved way more than you just saying this was named after her. And why didn't you bring your uncle up on stage to talk about said wine? Did you have a conversation with your family about why this wine was dedicated to her? What was your history behind it? Why didn't you bring him up on stage with you? You got nervous and you just brought your friends up there and left your uncle in the background. So basically, from that point, they just felt like Martel did what he could, but maybe he should have did more, and maybe he wasn't prepared for what to come. So the men the men wake up the next day, they're packing up, and Louis left early due to a family emergency. And all in all, the night and the event was a success. So Tiffany and Louis, they are at the house having a conversation. Louis arrived home early because he received news of a death in their family, and they're going to be driving down to Birmingham for the services. So then talking about the trip, Tiffany can tell that her man was lying. When you lie and you get excited, you get a huge ass smirk on your face. So what's going on? What happened? So he wanted to say how it was just a simple night, and we had a little sample wine event. It was a focus group. Okay, who was the audience of this focus group? Martel invited a whole bunch of ladies. Really? Why? Well, Martel's a single man. Okay, but that's fine. Y'all men are married, though. So a married man can have a civilized conversation. He can't conduct himself around a single woman. Absolutely. He can. He can. There are men who can conduct themselves in a timely fashion when around other women. This is Martel we're dealing with. And so, what else happened? He did not mention the strip club. He didn't. Then he talked about how they all came up with campaign slogan for the wine. So, what was your campaign? He decided to play on words, laugh, and be like, "What did I say? I said something. What did I say? You know, I don't even remember what I said." And then I just woke up and had a great breakfast. Tiffany was squinting at him like, "I know you fucking lying to me, and I will find out, sir. I will find out." And then he talked about going to the rage room. She said, "What did you rage about?" "I played on with having sexual frustration." "You raged about sex? Is it that to the point where you need to go to a doctor? Is it that serious? What's going on there?" "So then you have a problem." He said, "No, it wasn't that serious. He just wanted to rage about a topic and sex was on his mind." "But you want me to be okay with you raging about not having enough sex? How am I supposed to be okay with that?" He said, "It wasn't planned. It just popped in my mind." "But if it wasn't planned, then why would you go to the point where you wanted, the way you was tearing up that shit, that means you really have a problem, Louis. That wasn't pretend." So she wanted to have a conversation. "Okay, well, let's talk then. Let's talk, because I will make a way in my schedule to make sure I'm there for our son's games. If you're not willing to put you on that list and make a priority for you more than what I'm already doing, then let me know. I can put it in my schedule. And it says make time for husband, come home for husband. Like, what can I do? Make it a priority. I want to make you happy. I want to respond. I want to communicate, right?" So she's trying to have a real conversation, and I want to talk. So she said, "What is it? Is it a transaction? Is it a morning? Is it a night? Where do you feel sex has not become enough for you?" And he's trying to have a conversation with her, but I feel like, oh, he said, "Do you think that I'm thinking it's just a sexual transaction? Is that what you think it is?" "I don't know, Louis. You're not giving Tiffany much. She's really trying to have an honest conversation with you, and you're not talking. I want to put in a mental note and make it a priority of my husband is requiring more sex than me, and I want to make sure I'm doing my wifely duties and making my husband happy." And he said, "Is it a duty or is it a privilege?" She said, "A privilege." And it cuts off from there. We didn't see a continuing conversation, which made me mad. I want to know more about this. Because if Louis is in his mind thinking that sex is a privilege, that's not going to work for me. Louis, stop playing games. If you have a problem with how much you're not having sex, then Tiffany needs to understand where you're coming from. If Tiffany is continually sticking to her story that you get sex frequently, you get head, you get ass any time of the day or night, when she comes home from working from sun up to sundown, what's the problem? Is it a her problem or is it a you problem? Do you have a sexual addiction? Is it because you're older, your sex drive is a little bit more higher? Then you're going to have to talk. Communicate, sir. So Kimmy was enjoying herself while everybody was out of the house. Her dog was gone. Maurice was gone. Jalen was gone. Monster was doing something. She had the house to herself. It was nice, quiet, and clean. So now the moment of truth, the real reason why we're here. So she wanted to talk about the trip, and the trip was pretty much for what it was. And Maurice starts off with the manager, how the manager, Melneka, was the first male, the first melody. And Marsau and Tisha, they're talking, and how he talked about the manager as well. And Letitia knows the manager. They did leadership. So Maurice tells a story that she was the first Melody, and he knew her longer, and Melody was 2.0 or something like that. And Kimmy is shocked about hearing this. Marcel tells Tisha that Melneka? I think Melneka invited women to his tasting event, and a whole lot of women and a pretty decent amount of guys seemed pretty fair. So Maurice is telling Kimmy that Martel got extremely excited that he wanted to go to a strip club. Maurice acting dumb, that he don't know the strip club is in Atlanta. I don't know what the name of it is. And I think he really wanted to go for the wings. Kimmy said he went for the wings. Yes. So Tisha talked to Marcel about why you guys have to go to the strip club. Why? Well, when in Rome. When you in Atlanta, the first thing you do is go to the strip club. And there's nothing to be said about that. That's it. And he said, "You know me. You know how I do." Tisha said, "I don't know what you do. I don't know how you are. Because I don't know. I don't know." So Kimmy's asking him one question only. I'm not asking as a two-part. It is one question. I need a simple explanation. Don't go around the mulberry bush. Don't give me a dissertation. Answer it one time. Did you touch them girls? Here goes Maurice, give an explanation to avoid him answering the question. Talking about, when you say touch, what you mean by that? Like a tap, a whisper? You know, touch is a funny thing. What does touch mean? And this is Kimmy's problem with Maurice. How he goes all the way around the bush to avoid answering questions, and that makes her upset. But she has to be in her demeanor, she has to be in her conduct. But I know for a fact she's saying, nigga, if you don't stop playing with me right now, we on camera, stop playing with me. And it wasn't a hard question. He just wants to know the specifics of what you're asking me. Because I'm not going to answer a question if it's not what I did. And it don't need to be this hard to answer a question though, Maurice. Because she said, did you touch? Did your physical being touch another physical being? Did you touch any of those girls with any part of your body? Not hard to do. She's looking at him like, I don't need you to define the word for me, because that's what Maurice was doing. He was playing on Kimmy's intelligence and was pissing me off. And I said, listen, boy, don't play. So, like, okay, there was a touch. There was a tap. It was no caress. No matter what, it was a caress. It wasn't a caress. It was a tap, you know, and that person was a female. So she pretty much set up in her brain that it's not going to be a surprise if there was more happening, but she's already going to be able to answer it. Because she said, it will come out on social media regardless. I feel like once the camera start rolling and she's going to see the show for what it was, she's going to still answer some questions. But it's going to come out on social media regardless. So they talk about the rage room, where they went to the rage room, let their frustrations hit and stuff. But the only thing that Marsau and Maurice talked about was Louis going through his sexual frustration with Tiffany. And Kimmy went with lunch with Tiffany, and Tiffany talked about the same thing. About, you know, Louis wanted more sexy time, and she's busy, and he wants more. Maurice said out of his mouth, married people have less sex across the board. Then led to Marcel and Tisha, how I will rather be, I don't want to be in a no-sex marriage or a sexless marriage. So Tisha defended Tiffany and said, there's a difference between sexless and not having enough sex. I think there's a difference. I'm pretty sure Tiffany and Louis are pretty much getting down in their bedroom. I don't know it, but I'm pretty sure Tiffany's holding it down. And Marsau said that, you know how a lot of people said he gave all this up for some head? The answer is yes. Next question. Talking about Martel. How Martel ruined his family because he received head at a time that he wanted it and Melody wouldn't give it to him. So yes, there are stupid men who will lose everything they have versus a night of fun. So he said, if it's important to you and not to me, I'm not going to care if you go out and resource it. Meaning, if I'm not in the mood to have sex with you, you can go ahead and find it because I'm not going to care. Wow. Tisha, do you not see the signs? He's basically telling you, you can find and fuck whoever you want to fuck. It's not going to make me no better. It's not going to make me mad. But he's already said shit like that already on the lives that he done. He will leave Tisha for a rumor. He said that. So to me, the fact that he's going to now say, because I'm not fucking you, it's okay if you want to fuck somebody else, I'm not going to care. That's fucked up to say to your wife, though. Tisha, read the room, please. I don't like the fact that Marsau plays on those types of comments. He plays on those games, and it's hurting Tisha even more. And you even say that. Like, I understand men have dark sense of humor, but sometimes the shit that Marsau says in the humor means exactly what he says. So then Maurice talked about girlfriends date more than wives, and they have a lot more sex. And Kimmy said, okay, well, women like being catered. Women like being wooed. And waiting for you an hour to get out the bathroom is not my idea of fun. And women are turned on differently. Like, he wants her to come home, but she might want to be romanced. She might want to be wooed. Tisha is talking to Marsau about, you don't understand of what we as women, we as mothers and wives go through. We have so many hats, so many responsibilities. Marsau said, yeah, you don't think the men do too? We go to work, we hang out with our friends, we go to the bar, and we come have sex with you. Pause. No. What the fuck? So I have a lot on my plate, and your idea of having a lot on your plate is, of course, working. But when you say go to the bar and hanging out with your friends and coming home to us to have sex with us, that don't seem like you have a long day ahead of you. So she said, look at that. I'm not about to give Marsau this pity. His reasoning was bullshit. And I got so much on my plate. I got so much to do. And then out of all the things that I got to do, which is a 24/7 hour job, you want me to stay ready for you to come home when you've been hanging out with your friends and drinking? Hell no. You don't have as much of a hard day that I've had. Oh, you had a few beers, you hang out with some friends, like the fuck? You had a much better time, a much better night than I did. I went through a lot of shit. I had to deal with constantly picking up toys, making dinners, an accident happened. Like, I had a longer day than you. But you want me to be all happy and ready when you come home? Fuck no. Good night. So, yeah, she's supposed to be hot and ready for you after a long day. How about you work with her? Give her a foot massage. Make her feel good. It's not all about sex with y'all men. It's not about it. So he's not explaining that to his friends. And then, of course, they don't know Tiffany and Louis' situation. They don't have small kids. They have older kids. Marsau told her, we don't know their problem. So we're not about to make it a problem. We don't know their issues. But we do know the fact that Louis said their schedules are not matching up. But at the same point in time, they'll get through it. Just got to figure out how to way to take care of one another. We went through the same thing. And we have been stronger because of it. So Tisha meets up with Dr. Francis. And it's been some time since she's been there. She's had her own homework to do to discover who she is. But the one thing she can't discover is, who is Tisha? I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a child of God, but what else is there? So when she was in that stay-at-home mom mode, she just thought about her family, her household. She forgot what makes her happy. What are her goals? So what have you learned? What have you gotten to the point? She said her husband has been talking about what can he do to make it happen for her, what he can contribute to make sure Tisha is rising above it, rising, being supported and everything. So we see changes. Then we discovered that her husband has been through some changes as well. Because last year he talked about having depression and he decided to take a trip to Africa by himself. Yes, so Dr. Francis asked you, why didn't he take you? Oh, I had to stay behind for the kids. I mean, I had 3 kids. I had to set up a nanny, set up a babysitter. You know, they have school. I had a lot to do. But he wanted to go. I had a lot to do, but he wanted to go, so he went. And where did he go? Tanzania. Okay. So, you okay with that? I wasn't at first. So she explained why he had to go without her. But she understood it. She said they were already planning a family trip to Africa. And I'm back. But like I said, she explained why he had to go alone and how they were already planning a trip to Africa. But at the same point in time, though, Tisha, you guys were already planning a trip to Africa, but why would he give an explanation as to why he had to go first? And you pretty much just said, okay, go ahead and go. So she wasn't okay with him going at first. By the same point in time, he told her last minute that they were not going. So the reason of him not going was because he wanted to get away from everybody. He wanted to take some time out for himself. It was last minute thinking. To go to Tanzania, it was last minute thinking. So Dr. Francis looking at her like, first of all, that's not last minute thinking. Last minute thinking and last minute behavior are totally different things. The fact that this man decided to go to Tanzania and he decided to tell you last minute, that wasn't last minute planning though. He had already planned to go to Tanzania. He already had prepared for everything. And by the time you were finding out about it, it was already at a disadvantage for you to not go behind him or travel behind him because he had already made plans. You know, you have to make time to book a flight, book the hotel, finding your destination and what you're trying to do, get to know all the itineraries and everything. It takes time and preparation for that. And he had already did that before then. And when he finally told you how he's going to Tanzania by himself, you was already at a place where I can't confront him. I can't say anything. I'm just going to go ahead and defend him with saying, listen, he went by himself and I'm fine with that. I mean, I had to stay home anyway. I had a lot of things to do. Please. You guys both are business people. You guys both have businesses together. Why was it so easy for him to leave to do something when it made it hard for you? So he already planned to go along. And in his mind, how it was communicated was last minute, but please. It wasn't last minute planning though. So she tells him, you have to start telling me things. And if you start communicating things better. And he talked about how I'm going to do better. I'm going to try. And it's all going to work out. So Dr. Francis sees dependency in the relationship between Marsau and Tisha. Of course, she's not recognizing it now. But if Marsau was to drop the ball, Tisha will pick it up and handle it. So he can depend on you which frees him from taking any part of the responsibility. The more you do it, the more freedom he has to not do his part because you're going to do it. The fact that he automatically left everything in your hands to not prep for everything, to not get a handle on making sure all the kids was able to go, he left it all in your hands. Marsau definitely looks for ways to make it harder for Tisha. And the fact that he has all the ability in the world to get a handle on things, he chooses not to. Because he probably feels like it's not his place to do it, or that's not my job, that's her job. Because, you know, Marsau has this mindset of all that Marsau was supposed to do is do this. But Tisha has to handle all of this. And if there are things that he messed up on, Tisha will come up behind it and clean it up. And Marsau would never feel the responsibility of how it feels to not get a handle on things, because Tisha might not be around to make sure you don't look bad. She might not be around to see you fumble the ball, and you might have the responsibility as to why you let shit happen. And Tisha can always defend you. The fact that Tisha's defending you as to your reasoning for going to Tanzania by yourself, it still don't make no sense. Like I said before, he had already planned everything. He told you last minute, which puts you at a disadvantage for not getting your shit together. And did he tell you how he got his information? Did he tell you how he got everything planned for his first time going to Africa? You're going to have to figure out another way to do it, because he's not going to tell you. And basically, in her mind, she wants him to do more. She wants him to take more responsibility and own his part. But she's never said it to him. Only time will tell. She is banking on how Marsau will just get it. It'll just click. But no. So you don't know how much time that's undefined. You don't know how much time that is. You're allowing him to be who he is. You need to make a conscious effort into confronting him on his behavior. And he needs to let you know when is he going to try and change. You're going to be in an unknown space for a long time. Confrontation is key in growth and development. And she hates confrontation, but she's going to have a conversation later on to be comfortable with how she's feeling. It's so funny though, Tisha, you hate confrontation, but you hate confrontation when it comes to your husband. You can go at other people though. You want to smoke with them, but don't want to smoke with your husband when that's the main issue. The main issue is your husband. Look what your husband is doing. Letting you defend him when it came down to why he decided to go to Africa by himself. Now, I understand wanting to take time away, but why Africa? There could have been other places you can go. And if you guys were already planning a family trip, that robbed the opportunity for you guys to experience it as a family. He robbed it when he wanted to go by himself, which led to a whole other floodgate of what might have happened when he was there. So Dr. Francis and his wife have been hosting marriage retreats for a while, and he invited Tisha and her husband, also their other married couples, to come on. And she doesn't know if he'll be on board, but she will make way for me available to go to try something new. They've never done a marriage retreat before, so there might be a time to try something new. So Martel goes over to his mother's house to talk about the event, and she knows what happened between Uncle Sam and Martel, and how if it was an issue, he wished his uncle would have acted differently. Would have been in more control of his behavior. But I feel like, Martel, you tend to go off the ledge too. Y'all both are in the same boat. And why wasn't you talking about more of why the wine was so important to you? And that's my mama too. So I would have felt the same way my brother felt. So he understood how it would feel and how it was a different way. And of course, he feels like I'm just as close to my grandmother as it was for her being your mother. So he's having another wine tasting event where it's going to be a lot more intimate. It'll be majority of family and friends. And he will apologize to him. And of course, he will prepare more. He'll have a speech ready than he had the first time. And he's pretty much apologized in multiple ways. And of course, they talk about the memories they had with his grandmother. And how his grandmother was a beautiful soul. She was so funny. We would go out to eat all the time. And then it was a time when his grandmother came to his football game in college. And, of course, it was super cold that day. And she was turning red. His mom wanted to make sure she was good. She wanted to take her home. She said, no, I'm not leaving. I'm watching my grandson play. She ended up leaving after that. But then she passed. And he didn't want to pursue football anymore. He didn't even think to trying out for the NFL scouts. Because he was so distraught about his grandmother's death. That was pretty much one of his biggest supporters, along with his mother. And it's crazy how I've come a long way from that point. And I could tell it would have been cool to see Martel be a football star, but I guess life worked out differently. And pretty much is trying to be in a different mind space. And of course, being his mother, she wants to do the best that he can. You are a loving man. You're a great man. You made some mistakes, but you learn from it. And that's all I can. That's all I can expect from you. So Melody has a conversation with Kimmy. They talk about the latest Atlanta trip and how it wasn't any different from the last Atlanta trip. And Maurice told Kimmy no, it was actually really fun. And Melody wanted to ask Kimmy a question. How do you feel when your husband goes out of town with Martel? Does that make you feel some kind of way? Honestly. And of course, Kimmy giving out her best fake expression. No, I don't. I don't feel a way at all. I mean, if my husband can't take a guy's trip, then we're in a bad place, i.e. you are. It's mostly who it's going with, huh? So Kimmy felt like Melody is trying to place her hurt on everybody because she went through her situation and that everybody cheats. And she said, newsflash, everybody don't cheat. I hear you, Kimmy. But the fact that you just came from interrogating Maurice about how he might have touched somebody and you wanted to know and he was giving you bullshit ass reasoning, you are very much worried, you're very much bothered by him hanging out with Martel. But you know for a fact you can't stop Maurice from hanging out with Martel. You can't. So you're going to just suck it up and just take what you can take. But you want to make sure you're not looking stupid because you already know what you're about to do. You're going to stay by his side. So I wasn't mad that Melody asked her that. I mean, she asked her that before the season. So I'm not seeing that Melody is trying to throw out her pain on other people. I'm not seeing that at all. I'm not. I'm seeing her keeping her, what's the word I'm trying to find? Just making sure that her friend's not looking stupid. Even though she don't see it for Tisha, but she still sees a friendship with Kimmy. I want Kimmy to make sure she's not looking stupid out here. So then, of course, this was Kimmy's way of diverting that conversation. And Kimmy told more about what happened at Martel's event. About how, you know, he was there for his wine. You know, he had a wine out. I knew about it, but I don't know much. I knew about it. I heard it, but I don't know much about it. And his uncle was there. His uncle was upset. He felt the way about how there wasn't a lot said about the wine. She wants to know who uncle was it. I don't remember. But he felt really mad about how, you know, that was a wine from his mother and it wasn't enough expressed. So she figured, and it was Uncle Sam. I know that. That's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's a really cool dude. He's very cool temperament. He got really mad. Yeah, there wasn't a lot being said about his mother. So Maurice told her, and she could see two sides. How Martel didn't say a lot, and of course Uncle Sam would have a way about it. And then he left because of it. And Melanie wants to know who was the event planner. And Kimmy told her, Melneka. You say what now? Melneka. Mom. And from that point, she's like, okay, girl. As crazy as it sounds, I know her. She's a longtime friend of Martel's, probably elementary, middle school. She was my wedding planner. She quit 2 weeks before my wedding. I had to hire her mother-in-law to complete the job. I had deposits paid. I even paid for other things I never got my money back from. And her reasoning with quitting was because her and Martel got into it. They were on the phone on a three-way call. And she wanted to blast Martel. And talking about how you be cheating. You were asking about my assistant that worked in the office. Of course, Kimmy is like, oh my God, what? For real? Hearing this at the time, Mel was 22. And hearing Martel tell Melneka, you making this stuff up? Why are you making stuff up? Why are you doing this? So in that conversation, she was thinking at that time, being 22, how Melneka could have been lying. And that Martel was telling the truth. Because, of course, I'm 22. I'm 2 weeks left of I'm getting married. This man has never showed me anything. I've never heard no red flags for his best friend or his longtime friend is calling me on a three-way telling me that he's cheating, asking about her assistant. Nah, I'm not going to believe that. I'm just going to look at it as this girl's probably don't want me to marry him because she's had her heart set on his eyes for years. And this was her opportunity. But now, thinking differently, in my 36-year-old mind, if I had that mindset when by the time I was 22, I would have believed her. For her to wait until this point in time to call me and tell me this information, I would have believed her. And that was in the episode. I'm not going to lie, though. It makes me wonder, what is the relationship between Melneka and Martel? Is Melneka one of the women that just stayed as a friend to make sure that when you've had all the women, I've been right here on your side. I'm the one that got away. I'm the one that's been waiting all this time for you to see, like, you know. Did she try to do that as a way to sabotage Mel and her wedding? Maybe, maybe not. But then consider the fact that Martel and Melneka have had a friendship since that point, though. They're still remaining friends. So, but that's what Martel do. Martel uses the history to gain what he needs to do. So Melneka probably thought she could kill two birds in one stone. I can help him change his image, but also showcase how I could be better than Mel was before. I have no idea. That's where my mind went. So from that point on, her trying to give her a heads up 2 weeks before her wedding that this is what your man out here doing, but she's still holding on to him, being a super long time friend and helping him get back on his feet. I don't know. But y'all, that's it. Oh, that's all I have. That tea really tickled me, but that's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.